Hello, hello, NWI. Welcome to Bluer by the Lake, the podcast that explores region life through a blue lens. I'm your host, Tracy Martin, and joining us today is Mike Repay. Mike is the new chair. If you didn't know this already, you should, but in case you don't, he's the new chair of the Lake County Democratic Party. Woo! Mike, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. And I, if I was a little bit better prepared, I would have like an applause line or something for myself. Like, when you announced me, that would be nice.
Well, you know what? I just figured out how to do that the other day,
Oh,
and I will put it in. I know it's fun.
great. Thank you. Thanks for
Alrighty.
having me.
Oh, it's my great pleasure. So now I had planned, Mike, for this to be a light and fun episode all about talking about how to run for office, and we'll get to there because I'm determined to do that. But as you know, there's a lot of stress in the air right now in our district because um, Vice President Vance is going to be visiting Indiana tomorrow to discuss the possibility of a pre-2026 election redistricting. And so everyone is in Indiana's congressional district 1 is going, freaking out because, of course, one of the seats targeted is our own Representative Frank Vance. So again, we're all freaking out. We like our congressional district just like it is. How is this happening? It feels like this should be illegal since Indiana's state constitution limits redistricting to 1 to 2 years after the 10-year census.
I think in fact it is, and but it's it's the fact that it's illegal never stopped folks like Vance and Trump from doing stuff, and Braun for that matter, from pushing forward on things like this. So I think we should still be mindful and still be aware and still have our antenna up in terms of keeping a strong eye on what they're doing. And continuing to organize and continuing to get word out and things. So I have no doubt that that is illegal. I also have no doubt that they will make an attempt to do it. But I have concern about it. But I also think that we're not as red as they think we are, and to the extent they're going to try and make CD1 more red or less blue, they're going to have to decide which other districts they're going to make less red, and those representatives are going to be more competitive than as well. I mean, of course we want Frank to be the congressman for as long as he wants to be the congressman, and we certainly want to keep CD1 blue, and we will, whatever it takes. And so, but I think that realistically, I don't know that the numbers will work for them in order to change it. If they did, they would have done it already. If they could have drawn him out or that district out, they would have done it already. I don't think they can.
They've tried, and he's succeeded despite I can't remember the statistic of how many times they've tried to redraw this district to remove Frank, and it hasn't happened. He won despite that. So, well, that said, let's just pretend that they are absolutely just going to do it anyway because they just want to. What can we do to stop it? Is there something we can do?
Well, I haven't. I'm not a lawyer and I don't play one, and I haven't really looked at the law and the legal aspects of it. But I don't like our chances in the courts, to be honest with you. Like, generally speaking, when push comes to shove and things seem to be on their face going one way or the other, they seem to always break their way. I think the reality is it's all coming down to the ballot box. We have to fight in every race and every corner of the state and every corner of the district to get more registered voters, get more people like us out on the campaign trail and out in the elections, during election time. So that's where, these people will say, elections have consequences. Braun said something crazy like that the immigration was on the ballot, like it was some sort of referendum. We're helping. The state police is going to be a part of ICE and everything else. And I don't think that was the case. But perhaps we have to tell them with a stronger voice that wasn't on the ballot. And I don't even think a lot of Trump supporters were as keen on the idea of deporting people who are trying to make a living working at Home Depot or working for in the trades and whatnot. I don't think that was the what they sold everybody on. What they sold everybody on was that there were criminal elements that we needed to get rid of. It's not a surprise to us, I guess. We know that they're dishonorable people. They say one thing to get elected and do something else, and now it's coming home. But at the end of the day, we got a lot of voters in Lake County and in our area that need to come out and be voters and not just be registered and not just be a citizen and not just be a protester, but be a voter, be a candidate, be an organizer, be a speaker, and do the things that we need to do to get more Democrats elected.
So let's talk about which in particular of these cities we need the most energy. I know that Donald Trump Jr. Recently visited St. John and Portage, both of towns which have tended to shift a little closer to the red over the last few election cycles. Some people are speculating this was done as a precursor to exploring redistricting. Do you think that these would be um, towns that the Republicans have in mind if they wanted to start splitting up Congressional District 1?
I suppose it's possible, but they're both already in CD1, so they need more. They need more of their voters. And how do they get more of their voters? I don't want to give them a playbook or anything. I've seen some
Right, right,
weird
right.
I've seen some weird lines in the state of Indiana that may produce a better look for them in CD1. But again, I like to caution them, or just let everybody know that there's other representatives in the state of Indiana who like their safe Republican district as well. And I think some of them are winning by double digits or mid double digits today, in part because they haven't been challenged properly. And so like that's what I get back to when we talk about our elections in the county, where they haven't been either challenged or significantly challenged or formidably challenged for a lot of years. And we can't then say, oh, they're going to win at 70-30. They're only winning at 70-30 because we're not putting up a strong enough fight. And maybe they still win it. Maybe they win at 60-40, or maybe they win it by a tighter margin. But we have to challenge them. We have not to this thus far challenged them in all the places that we need to challenge, and that's the key, including St. John. I don't know. In 4 years ago, interestingly, 4 years ago, there was a council seat that was on the ballot, which is coming back up. So 22, 26, as we look to the election next time. There was no Democratic challenger. There was a Republican and an independent in the town council. So people say, oh, St. John has 100% Republican. Well, you're going to get 100% if you're never going to have a challenger. So there's ways to be more strategic with what we're doing, and I hope to do that in 26.
So, in terms of this redistricting threat, what is the state Democratic Party doing to address it?
Well, as you know, they're having a public meeting tomorrow, and I suspect that they are doing as much privately as they're doing, or maybe twice as much privately as they're doing publicly. I have not heard firsthand from anybody from state party about the strategy, so I'm not going to give anything away because I don't know anything. So, but I'm pretty confident that there is one. Chair Karen Talion is an extremely an accomplished attorney, as well as a very shrewd political person. And so I have no doubt that she has a strategy. She's a resident of the first district, and also a close friend with the congressman. So there's no doubt that when she says this is a strategy, that it's going to get implemented, it's going to get implemented, completely and very quickly. So
Good to know. So, what then? All right. So, for all the folks like me that are like, okay, I can't get down to the state house tomorrow to do the sit-in, but I'm freaking out and I want everybody to know that I hate this idea. What is the best thing that we can do?
I think at this point, sharing like today, tonight, or in tomorrow is to be sharing those social media posts so that the message is out there, so that there's a message throughout the state, not just among Democrats, but throughout the state. They are tinkering with a a pillar of our Constitution, and to the extent any Hoosier lets them do that, there's no stopping them or anybody else from doing it again. You know, there could come a day when the Democrats are in charge, and maybe they don't want to see that precedent. You know, open the can of worms, so to speak, of messing with some of these longstanding, well-known, um, and you know, uh, certainly legal obstacles to doing what they want to do. You know, they can't just do whatever they want to do in the state of Indiana. This is not, we're not Texas. So they're going to have to figure out a different way.
And Braun himself has publicly admitted that the districts are fair and that the only reason to tinker for them would be to forward a national party's agenda. So I'm going to be really interested to see how he gets around that statement, if he does decide to go forward with attempting a redistricting. Alrighty, well, thank you, Mike, for diving into that piece of it. That's it for tonight's special update. We'll publish the rest of Mike's interview later in the week. In the meantime, please call the governor's office tomorrow to let him know you oppose any potential illegal redistricting.